In today's set review, we're gonna be taking a look at set number 75430, Wicket the Ewok. This set is part of the LEGO Star Wars 2025 Summer Wave, retails for roughly $130 and 120 euros, and contains 1010 pieces and one minifigure. On the front of the box we can see Wicket in the wilderness and woods of Endor. There are some sun rays peeking through the tree trunks, which creates a really nice atmosphere. I really like this harmonious background for the box art. On the backside we have the measurements for Wicket. We also have the little display plaque that comes with this set. And Wicket is standing in front of the fallen tree trunk where he later on in episode 6 sits on with Leia to eat the cookie. I think this is a nice Easter egg and I really appreciate them doing this. When opening this set you get a total of 12 numbered bags, an instruction manual, and finally a set without a sticker sheet. And even though it's rare, it's possible for LEGO Star Wars in 2025. Taking a look at the one and only minifigure in this set, this is of course Wicket himself. It's overall a pretty solid minifigure. I think they could nowadays print the legs, or at least the feet, to give him some toes or something like the Ahsoka from the Ahsoka show. But otherwise, these Ewoks have always been really solid. This custom molded headpiece, or yeah, it goes over the head and also over the torso, is a really cool piece. It has some awesome printing on it for the face and all his fluffy fur. The ears are molded into the hood, which is really nice, and the hood even got some printing on it to show some wear and tear. Overall, really solid minifigure. However, the back set is a bit boring. I think they could print something on the hood to show some wear and tear also from the back. But overall, this is a really good minifigure and yeah, I can't complain too much. As usual, the set also contains a printed display plaque. I really like that nowadays it's the standard for these display plaques to be printed. I hated those days where these were big ginormous stickers. There is some information about Wicket on this which you can read if you want to. And you can also put Wicket next to the display plaque and display him with this. But now let's take a look at the actual build of the set, Wicket himself. And honestly, I think you're gonna hate me for this, but I actually kind of like this set. And I feel like my reasoning for this is because I don't see these LEGO buildable character builds and sets as a 101 replica or like a statue or anything like that. Because for these kind of things where I want to have a real good likeness and a thing where I can see the actor's likeness in it 100%, for these are by action figures or even hot toys. But I don't expect a LEGO build to look 101 with the character in universe. Because on one side I don't think that this is really possible for a brick build version of something like this. And I also don't need it to be because, as I said, for these things I buy hot toys. And while I get it when you say that the faces often on these characters look ugly, and I wouldn't say that this is the cutest version of Wicket I've ever seen, I still think it's a really solid build and overall it looks really cool on the shelf. Because for the most part on this set they really nailed the angles and the overall look of the Ewok. The only real complaint I have looks-wise is probably just the face, which doesn't look as good as it could be, but it's also a very small scale to build something like this, so I don't really give the designer any fault for that. You just don't have much space for such a small creature like Wicket to build a very detailed face, and I think for what he could do, he did his best job. What I really like about the face section is just the whole shaping of the hood and everything and the ears. It looks really nice, and also the face for the most part looks really nice. I think the little stubby nose that he has looks really cute. The eyes are luckily printed, which I really love. If these would have been stickers, I would have gone crazy. The mouth section is, I think, the one side of the set which doesn't look that good, in which you could think that this is an ugly model, which I overall don't think it is. I don't think that this ruins the whole set. But yeah, there is not much space to work with for the mouth, and this is not the most accurate and doesn't look as good as it could be. But overall, I still really like the face. I think a lot of the angles and shaping is really well done, and especially all this furry look that he has. It's really nice. I still think they did a very solid job on this. There's not much to improve besides the mouth section. I also like how the whole hood and this leather top that he has shapes around his body, and then also the fur look with these, I don't know how these pieces are called, but I think you get what I mean, where it looks like single stripes of his fur hang out, which looks really cool and looks kind of natural. And also the feet are really cool, nice building technique for the toes and everything. Yeah, it looks just very cute on him. The back section, however, looks a little bit lackluster and unfinished, as it's overall very rectangular, and they didn't try to really round out the shapes on the back side and especially on the feet, which just looks like two rectangulars next to each other, which kind of ruins the look from the back. I mean, you're of course not gonna display this set from the back, but still, they need to finish this better and just make it look better overall. And another thing about the set I don't like is some of the colors that are showing through, because they didn't really hide them well enough or just use different color bricks. At the top here you can see some lime green shining through the hood, which doesn't look good. On the side of the arms there's a lot of grey, red and pink shining through, which once again doesn't look good. As far as play features go on this model, you can move the ears a little bit, which is more due to the technique of building it and not really a feature, I think. The arm is not really movable as well. I mean, you have some space, but it's not really intended to do this. You can move all 3 of his fingers and open up the full hand, which reveals this little pin where you can put the brick-built spear in there, which works pretty easily. Then you can close the hand again to make him grab the spear, which looks very solid. On the other hand, you can open the full hand and all of the fingers as well, and you get this little piece that should replicate the cookie that he gets from Leia, and it's pretty easy to make him hold it. It's not very fragile or anything. I like this. And all of the toes are movable as well, but yeah, you're not gonna really move them around much or post them. I think this model is made to be paired with the buildable Chewbacca, which also got a lot of hate, and I still get why the people don't like this set with the face. But overall, I think they do give off a very good pair and a very good duo. They look really cool together in my opinion. And I still need to get the R2-D2 and C-3PO as a duo and put them next to them. But I still think these buildable characters, especially if you got a couple of them, can look really nice on the shelf. Now once again, I get why people don't like these sets, and especially the face sections on many of these sets. And I also think and agree with the idea that droids are more suitable for this kind of series that LEGO does here with the buildable characters. But I still like these builds. I don't know why, I think they have some charm to it. If I want a 101 version of a character in a display piece, I get a hot toy or an action figure. But I want something to be built out of LEGO. And I don't think that it's that bad to see that it's out of LEGO, because this is the cool part. If I wanted a 101 replica of a Millennium Falcon, I wouldn't have the UCS one, I would just get a model to build. But I want a LEGO UCS Millennium Falcon. This is the same case here. I want a LEGO version of a buildable Wicket, and this is what I got. When it comes to the price, I think this set is once again sadly overpriced in my opinion. 130 bucks is just way too much for what you're actually getting. I think 100 could have been a solid price, and a lot of people would have been more, okay with the price and the whole look of the set. But 130 bucks for round about 1,000 pieces, only one small minifigure, which is Wicket, it's just not enough. You can't really do much with the build model in general, as it's just something you display. It doesn't have a lot of play features. It's not as appealing as a gunship or something like that. And it also doesn't have a lot of minifigures, so 130 bucks is just, it feels unreasonable. But yeah, these have been my thoughts about the buildable Wicket set. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about Wicket and the buildable characters line in general. Is it something that interests you, or do you just think that they look ugly? Do you prefer the droids, or do you also don't care about them? I'm really interested to see what the people in general think about these buildable characters, as I feel like I'm one of the only people really liking this line. So yeah, I would highly appreciate your comments below. I would also highly appreciate a like to support the channel if you enjoyed this video. Please consider subscribing if you're new, and other than that, have a great day.